Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, fans, if you've been paying attention over the last few weeks, you know that the landscape of the AFC North is shifting rapidly, but perhaps no team feels that pressure more right now than Cleveland. The Browns, a franchise with a rich history, passionate fanbase, and high expectations, find themselves at a crossroads early in the 2025 NFL season. And the big question on everyone's mind is, what's next for Kevin Stefanski? Is he going to survive the storm, or are we looking at a potential coaching change that could reshape the future of this team? Let's dive deep into what's happening, why it's happening now, and what it means for the Browns moving forward. So, here's the reality. Kevin Stefanski enters Week 3 of the 2025 season under more scrutiny than perhaps any other coach in the league. Just 2 years ago, he was riding high after leading Cleveland to the playoffs and earning the Coach of the Year award. Fans were optimistic, expectations were high, and it seemed like the Browns had finally turned the corner after years of ups and downs. But as we all know, NFL coaching is a brutal game. Success is fleeting, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Fast forward to 2025, and everything seems to be unraveling. The Browns are sitting at 0-2, and the schedule is not doing Stefanski any favors. In fact, the first 5 games of this season could be among the toughest in the league, testing not just the team's talent, but also the coaching staff's resilience and strategic acumen. Now, let's talk about what's gone wrong in recent years, because it's essential to understand the context. Last season, Cleveland's performance was a complete disaster. A 3-14 record, dead last in the AFC, and a series of frustrations that reached a boiling point. Injuries played a role, particularly the season-ending Achilles tear to Deshaun Watson, who was supposed to be the franchise quarterback. But injuries aside, the issues ran much deeper than just health. The offense, which Stefanski calls plays for and oversees, was abysmally ineffective. They finished dead last in scoring, averaging just 15 points per game, which is unheard of in today's NFL where offensive firepower is king. The Browns struggled to sustain drives, couldn't convert on third down, only 29.5% of the time, and turned the ball over a league-high 34 times. That's a recipe for disaster. And it gets worse when you look at red zone efficiency and overall offensive rhythm. The offense lacked identity, lacked fluidity, and no matter who was under center, it seemed to struggle to get into any kind of groove. Watson, when healthy, looked completely out of sync, and he failed to lead the team to even a single 20-point game in his 7 starts. Backup quarterbacks didn't fare much better, and by the end of the season, the Browns had cycled through 4 different starters, which clearly indicates instability at the most critical position. The play calling was conservative, predictable, and frankly, frustrating for fans and analysts alike. The running game, which was once a staple of the Browns' identity, took a hit early on with the injury to Nick Chubb, one of their most explosive players. Without Nick, the offense lost part of its rhythm, and defenses could tee off on the passing game, knowing the Browns' attack lacked the element of surprise. But it wasn't just the offense that went downhill. The defense, which was once one of the league's most feared units under Jim Schwartz, also regressed. Injuries and fatigue played a role, but the fundamental issues, missed tackles, blown coverages, and a lack of defensive consistency, became more apparent as the season wore on. The defense simply couldn't carry the team anymore, and that put even more pressure on Stefanski's offensive calls, which were often criticized for being too predictable or not adjusting to game situations. In response to last year's disastrous campaign, the Browns' front office made some moves in the offseason, firing offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey and offensive line coach Andy Dickerson. But Stefanski was kept on, probably because of his prior success and the understanding that 2024 was marred by injuries and unfortunate circumstances. However, that patience might be running out fast. Cleveland's ownership, led by Jimmy Haslam, is known for being impatient with mediocrity or failure. They want results, and they want them now. The long-term contract with Watson has only added to the scrutiny, raising questions about the team's direction and whether they're committed to building around him or looking elsewhere. And here's where the schedule gets even more brutal for Cleveland. The Browns are about to face one of the most challenging stretches in the entire league. Week 2 saw them travel to Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, a team that always plays Cleveland tough, especially at home. The Ravens are perennially in the playoff hunt, and their style of play, with Jackson's dual-threat ability, makes them a nightmare matchup for the Browns. But it doesn't get easier. Week 3 brings the Green Bay Packers to Cleveland, with Jordan Love continuing to develop into one of the league's promising young quarterbacks. The Packers have been aggressive on offense, and their defense has shown resilience, especially in the early parts of the season. Then, in Week 4, the Browns hit the road again, this time to face the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit's offense is among the most explosive in the league, led by Jared Goff and a roster filled with playmakers. The Lions reached the NFC Championship last season, and they're eager to prove they're a powerhouse in the NFC. Cleveland's defense will be tested, and if they don't tighten up, they could find themselves in a deep hole. Finally, in Week 5, the Browns will take a long trip across the pond to London, where they'll face the Minnesota Vikings. That's a long journey with added strain on the players, and the Vikings are no pushover. They've got a solid roster with a balanced attack, and playing abroad always adds an extra layer of complexity. If Cleveland starts 1-4 or even 0-5, which, given the schedule and current form, isn't out of the realm of possibility, the pressure to make a coaching change will skyrocket. Fans are already frustrated after 2 losses, and the upcoming games against the Packers, Lions, Vikings, and Steelers will determine whether Stefanski's job hangs in the balance. The front office might see an early firing of Stefanski as a way to reset the team's mindset, shake things up, and send a message that the organization is serious about winning now. Whether that leads to an immediate search for a new coach or a different strategy for the remainder of the season, it will be a clear sign that the Browns are not willing to accept mediocrity. And let's be honest, Cleveland fans, they've been through enough. Years of false starts, coaching changes, and unfulfilled expectations have left the fanbase impatient. They want to see their team compete at the highest level and contend for a Super Bowl once again. The 2025 season, with its tough schedule and rocky start, might be remembered as a pivotal moment, either as the beginning of a new chapter with a coaching change or as a season where the Browns rally and prove everyone wrong. But one thing's certain, Kevin Stefanski's job is on the line from day one of this campaign. His prior success kept him afloat, but last season's failure and the early struggles this year have drastically changed the narrative. Now fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all this? Do you think Stefanski will survive the current turmoil, or is an early coaching change imminent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and all the latest news to keep you in the loop. Stay tuned, Browns fans, because this season is shaping up to be one of the most intense in recent history, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.